social media life has been overlapping with your work life. You know how to make content that's engaging
Right.
to
And so
attract a big audience.
I had people questioning what I was doing professionally and why I was doing this. If it was, oh, I don't understand why she's doing that if she wants to be a director. Because in a way, why am I making silly videos? Why am I making videos in my house?
Incorporation of social media shifted my career completely. If you think about it, I approached my social media as a portfolio for future jobs.
That's so perfectly stated. Oh my God. Interesting that you took on social media professionally in a way to make it a portfolio. And I went in the exact opposite route. I had my work portfolio, but I started doing social media to create more irreverent, off the cuff videos and tried to not make them look professional. It was all a perfect tapestry and it was meant to happen in that way. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
Welcome back to Yours Truly, the podcast. Let's do a proper intro. How are you today?
I'm good.
Your
It's been
voice
a good
sounds
week.
awake today.
Oh, interesting. That's good.
Yeah, it is good. How was your week?
Good week. Not much to update in that
No.
department. Just working on developing my comedy show and working on new
Yes.
material for the next time I'm back in New York because I realize that's going to come super fast and I'm going to need new material. So
It's gonna be here in a minute.
that's me. Yeah.
Also, do you want to talk at all about your show that you're producing for a second before we kick into the topic?
We could save that for another episode.
Okay, so save it up because she's working on a production where she's actually organizing the comics. Just give an outline so that we're not leaving people in the dark totally. But you're organizing
Okay.
comments and you're having a lead. What do you call it? A header?
I'm producing a comedy show. So I'm finding the comics, doing the lineup, creating the branding, and putting on the show.
Okay,
But
so
we
we
should
will
do a whole other
announce.
episode about an update in comedy.
Okay, I'll be ready for that one. All right. So my week was actually just a little, so there's a lot going on with life in general, and then work things, which is going to lead into our topic. I am going, it looks like I'm doing another project with Olay in Cincinnati. So for those who have been following along with that one, we can talk about it. And what's the topic for today? I love that you want to have more structured episodes. And we could thank our amazing editor for that, who's really giving us, he's also moving into the role of producer, it looks like, which I kind of like.
Our
But
topic. Well, you mentioned it last week, talking about how your social media life has been overlapping with your work life. So we can talk about that.
okay, let's dive right into it. Would you like to start by, should we do like a background about how work was before versus how it is now? How would you like to kick it off?
I guess so. What was pre-social media? Quick, I'm gonna say spark notes of
Okay.
what a regular work week was like or work
Okay.
job.
It's a good way to start it. And typically, pre-pandemic, we'll even say, so pre all of this that happened, work was really the jobs would come. It's an interesting thing. People say, how do you find work? I never really had to look for jobs. They just one client leads to the next client. If you do a good job, you get referred. So I've never really had a salesperson or anything like that. But my work was always comprised of directing or and partially producing, but mostly because Brandy's my producer now, mostly directing TV content or website content. So sometimes it's not necessarily for TV, but it was always in the horizontal format. Let's start with what it was visually. And usually 30-second spot or longer if it was a website video. For example, Runway of Dreams was a 3-minute mini documentary about the clothing and clothing for people with disabilities. So those types of projects, it was always testimonial style of work. Oftentimes it was interviews with what, let's say, dentists or people with disabilities or children. I've done a lot of work with kids. And because my background is in the toy space. So that's what it always was. And it was always one client would somehow lead to the next client. And it was a lot of repeat client work. Is that a good
I also
summary?
just, yes, I was thinking that this isn't just a you episode because I feel like my work has also changed because
It
of social
has.
media.
It
Because
has.
before it was just graphic design and it was graphic design. That was like the avenue that I was in. and it was making flyers, making graphics, doing branding, doing logos, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
But then the incorporation of social media shifted my career completely, if you think about
Oh,
it.
that is so
Because then I
true.
started doing food content for restaurants in Chicago, and that kind of led me to then start making my own
Mm.
food content on TikTok, which then led me to working at a food marketing agency again. And now my whole career is now social media versus 4 years ago was all graphic design.
Okay, wait. So let's not even skip over that so quickly because I think this is an important piece of the puzzle, which was when you were posting on TikTok at first, you were posting food content and filmed at a high level with a DSLR camera, setting up and doing lighting and creating and curating your shots. So your social media, I mean, it did lead into it, but it almost fed into it directly because you embraced social media more like work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
I
You
always thought
approached
I
your
was
social
using
media like
I
professionally.
approached my social media as a portfolio for future jobs.
That's so perfectly stated. Oh my God. Okay. And so on the opposite side of that, I'm going to say my social media, I did the opposite. I didn't even try to make it a portfolio. And at that, and because of that, I had people questioning what I was doing professionally and why I was doing this. If it was, oh, I don't understand why she's doing that if she wants to be a director. Because in a way, why am I making silly videos? Why am I making videos in my house? So interesting that you took on social media professionally in a way to make it a portfolio. And I went in the exact opposite route. I had my work portfolio, but I started doing social media to create more irreverent, off the cuff videos and tried to not make them look professional. I
Mm-hmm.
think. Do you think? If you think about that or
Yeah,
no? Is that accurate?
I think that's accurate.
Yeah, because my social media was purely for fun. That's how it started. And I wanted to keep it that way, that it was always fun. And that's why even when I do my editing, I refuse to take my edits into my laptop and do them. I want to do the editing always on my phone so that it's not work. I like to keep it on my phone because the minute it goes to my laptop, I suddenly start to nitpick at it more, look at it more closely, and it becomes more of a work project. And the only maybe a little difference is when I was making the baking videos, I was thinking a lot about my shots as I would if I was making a commercial. I was thinking, oh, I need a close up of this and a close up of that. But I wasn't trying to light the close ups. You were lighting, you were
Yeah.
using lighting, right? To make your
Mm-hmm. Now it
content
just
a
sits in the
portfolio.
closet. I should sell it.
You might get back to it. Who knows?
I know, I'm not going to get rid of it. It just takes up a lot of storage.
Yes. Yeah. I guess so.
But yeah, I spent so many hours making those videos. And it was good. It was good practice. It's a skill.
Hmm.
Don't
It
need to ever
also,
go back to it.
and it was also something that did help you get work because it gave you
Mhm.
credibility.
Yeah, 100%.
So interestingly, I'm going to say, I don't think my social media life gave me a portfolio at all at first. And in fact, I think it just gave me credibility because of building an audience. So it was a different
Yeah.
thing. It wasn't showcasing. And in the beginning, you even said, oh, you should show people behind the scenes in your commercials. That would be really interesting. Remember, we talked about maybe that was a strategy for my social media, and that nothing really
Mhm.
grabbed on with that. I don't know that people that care that much about it. That when they didn't know who I was, like, oh, this random
Yeah.
person's behind the scenes videos, maybe it just wasn't interesting, or maybe because it wasn't a big enough brand or maybe a controversial enough brand, I didn't get views on it. But I remember thinking, what should I do with my
Hmm.
social media at one point. And I was doing it purely for myself. And what happened because I was doing it purely for myself, I became my own subject. Though I became the content I ended up building a brand of me through it. And so what happened is instead of getting expertise for directing directly, I was known for, oh, wow, you actually were able to build an audience. So you know social media well enough to know how to build an audience. And so my credibility came from building a following, I think. Would you say
Yeah,
that's accurate?
I would say that's definitely accurate.
Because I'm still not doing videos to showcase my work, my commercial work. It's
No,
so
you're
weird.
all like your social media just shows that you know how to make content that's engaging
Right.
to
And so,
attract a big audience.
and then what's happening is I'm getting work because of my knowledge of social media. So so now let's skip to, I'm just going to like fast forward for a second and then we can kind of go through, maybe go through the timeline a little better. But now I'm getting hired by an agency that's working for a big brand like Olay to shoot their social media because they know I know how to make social media videos. And now they're looking to me, is this a good video? They like my editing better because I'm a social media guru. So when I it's so funny. They're working on a project and they have an editor working on a project. And then just send them a couple of rough edits and they like my edits better because I'm in the world of social media and I am delivering my content in that style.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I know that style succeeds. And so they want that style. So my work, I don't know, my page became a portfolio without it being done on purpose.
That's
You
perfect.
must you must have insights about this because it's true. You look at my page and I won't say it's a shit show, but it's a tutorial, a random dance with a person, and it's like a behind the scenes montage of my day on at work. That's hardly a portfolio, right? Do you feel?
I mean, no, but at the same, it's a portfolio in a different way. And what I was just saying that it's engaging. Like the proof is in the comments and the shares and the saves. That even though it's not like, oh, this is a day in my life as a director on set, it's still engaging to people, and that's what all companies are trying to figure out is how to make
Mm-hmm.
engaging content. So it makes sense.
And it's funny too, because now having done a bunch of shoots that are for specifically for clients for their social media, I need to make a reel. We should talk about this, Julia. I have to make a reel of the work that I've shot for brands and put that on my website. And whether I put it under my commercial work or I put it under a separate tab that's social media work, maybe that's what I do. And it's a social media dropped so that people could see, because now I do have a portfolio of work that is social media that's not with me in it, that is
Yeah.
for clothing and for skincare and who knows what's next.
Who knows?
Who knows? But it is weird how, and I keep saying this, how my work life and my social media life are like coming to a crossroads and I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm finding myself in this place with clients as they are looking to me as the expert. And I love to tell this story. And I don't know if I've ever said it on a podcast where I'm on these Zoom calls and there's mostly young people and they're all, who knows what they think of me on the call. And then somebody will say, oh, they were calling me TikTok Helen on the last project, by the way, which
Mhm.
was so funny. But they go, oh, well, TikTok Helen knows. And then somebody says, oh, well, oh, you're TikTok Helen. And then somebody will say, I have almost 1 million followers on social media. And suddenly I'm regarded in a totally different way in that meeting, which is a whole
Mhm.
ageism thing. I think maybe we talked about it on the ageism episode, but it's interesting because I would normally be less relevant because of my age. And that's just the nature, unfortunately, of what happens in a young industry. You just get, tutu. But now I'm actually the expert teaching them
Tutu.
tutu. Oh boy. I don't know.
No, I think it all makes complete sense. And it's like, this was supposed to happen for some weird reason.
I know, some weird reason. And it didn't start out with that intention, which makes it even funnier when something doesn't plan to go that way. Certainly a lot of things about my social media didn't go as planned. I had that the little June 2022 hiccup. But it's funny that it was almost like it was all a perfect tapestry and it was meant to happen in that way. So
Hmm.
I do kind of love it. And I just
It's
love
funny.
how things are happening now. For example, today, the call about do I want to produce a podcast and going into down that road. And that's a whole thing because now people on LinkedIn are seeing me and my podcast clips. So the podcast clips are now becoming another commodity that I
Hmm.
obviously know well because it's doing well.
You're just expanding your arsenal of
It's, I know.
services and
You,
expertise to people.
I know, but there used to be this whole thing where you should just stay in your lane and be the expert in that lane and you'll do better
Eh,
just like the I don't know if I like that either. I would
I
get
don't
bored.
think either of us have ever believed that.
I don't think I could stay in one lane. Ugh. Even with
I feel
things
like it's our
like
kryptonite. no place you can stay in one lane.
It's definitely a problem. It is.
Tommy's making lamps now because that's a thing.
Is he making
Why?
lamps?
Yes.
I
He's like
didn't know.
trying to learn how to make lamps for the
Okay.
house. And Jenna's like, we can't buy any lamps because he says he's gonna make them.
Okay, Tommy, I want to see some of these lamps. I can't wait. That is definitely part of us, though. We take something on and we also like to do it. And this is where I want to say, I want to use the word patience and say, I have so much patience and I also have no patience. And how is that possible that in
Yeah.
one human being, I have so little patience for like how fast I want to learn something and how fast I want to be good at something. You know, think about those days of me learning how to
Hmm.
wakeboard. And I was going to try again and again and again and again until I got up on that wakeboard, like relentless. But the other side of it is I have patience because I am relentless and I will keep doing until something. And it doesn't even phase me when I have like a bad stretch or like I'm posting and weeks are going and I'm not even getting a lot of views. That will never even stop me. It's always like,
Hmm.
go to the next one, go to the next one, just keep going. And that's a big lesson.
Quick tangent on the views thing also doesn't it's like not really bothering me anymore. It's I had a very quick tangent about the social media. You know, I've been trying to post like multiple times a day. Was really busy the past 2 weeks, so it was really just trying to post once a day and not
Okay.
let like more than a day go by without posting. Um, and it was just hard getting back into trying to post multiple because I'm like, I don't even know what I want to post. Like got into this like weird phase of any idea I had wasn't interesting
Ooh.
and had like a very strange. And now I think maybe it's hard for me to do social media sometimes because I'm like, it's not a portfolio for, well, I'm using it for comedy, I guess, but it's
Mm.
it's a less stressful aspect in my opinion because I'm not using it as a portfolio to like get work. Although I guess
Ooh.
I kind of am for comedy, but like it's a different like comedy could be anything. Like it could be my stand-up clips. It could be me making like a funny joke or a funny observation about something. So it is still, but at the same time, then it's different because then I have this pressure. It's like it's got to be funny. It's got to be hilarious. Whatever you post
Mm.
has to be humorous.
So are you,
And
how are you
sometimes
doing with this thing where you said you committed? Because you are been doing it. You've committed to posting
I
a
know I
lot and
should.
you are.
I have like a calendar where I have to update it with my recent. Like I made a calendar on Airtable where at the end of the week I would post what videos I posted rather than
Oh,
plan out a week of videos, go through the weeks. I'm definitely make more content like in the moment. So I have an Airtable thing where I can calendar where I can see what I've done and I haven't updated it. But I've been pretty consistent despite being exhausted from the month of March.
oh, yeah. It was a rough month in general for you, travel wise. I was so busy work wise. We both had like a really tiring month for
I think
sure.
it was interesting because there was one night where I was like, it was going to be 2 days without posting. I was like, I need to just post something before I go to bed. So it was after the bachelorette weekend. I posted a picture of me like taking a selfie of like all the girls taking a picture. And then there was a cat at this vineyard and I was taking pictures of the cat. So I took a picture. I took the picture of me taking the selfie with everyone else trying to get pictures for the gram. And I was like, when all the girls are trying to get pictures for Insta and then versus, and then the next slide was like me taking pictures to send of the cat to send to
A
my
stray cat,
boyfriend.
a stray
And I
cat.
woke up and it had 5,000 views, like the best post in the past month, probably. Like
That's
not a lot
always
of
how it
engagement, but
goes.
just the fact that it got like a lot of views. I was like, are you kidding me?
I know. Are you kidding me? It's so funny because you were posting so many times a day and I have been so consistently always posting one time a day. So
Hmm.
the day that I had extra time and I was in the airport when I was delayed from that whole Los Angeles flight with all the crazy traffic. And so I
Hmm.
did a random video that was so like, I'll just post an extra video today. And I just did myself standing there and explained how everybody was getting out of their cars and running from the highway to catch their plane. But then we got to the gate and the flight attendants are stuck in the same traffic. That is my one of my most viral videos right now with over 350,000 views. I don't even know if you know it got that high. Crazy. And it was two
That's
seconds.
it's
I just recorded
always
myself and put a caption. It's like,
it's always the
what?
stupidest thing that you don't
Oh,
expect.
it's
And
so
has nothing to
frustrating.
do with like your content or like your niche. But then it's like not a bad thing. Like I stitched a video and it went viral. I do very good with stitches. I feel like they're my sweet spot because
Oh,
I I don't know what it is, but and I try to make them humorous so that it's like comical and relates to me doing
Cool,
comedy
cool.
so that it's a part of the
It's part
brand.
of it. Part of the
But I did one about how like millennials are millennials are aging really well, and it got like
Yeah, that one did
150,000
well.
views.
That one did well. That was really insightful though.
Have you ever had a video go viral? I think I know the answer to this. A video go viral that's kind of exactly what you needed. A video go viral relevant to your career.
Oh,
And I'm not going to say tutorials count because that's like your TikTok career.
yeah,
I'm
wait
going
a
to say
second.
like, has anything gone viral about you directing or producing TV commercials?
Do you know the answer to that?
I
Because
don't
I
know.
because I don't think so,
I think
actually.
you need to try and do a video the next time you have a shoot that is like a day in my life as a TV director
Okay.
and just voice over it. Like you take all the clips during the day
Oh, that's true.
just as an experiment.
I could probably do that with one that I haven't posted yet because there's two shoots that I was on that I had to wait to post about because sometimes it's if I can't show things or I can't show whatever because it's not released yet. So maybe when I do that, I will do a version with music just like I usually do and then do a version with a voiceover and see how that flies.
I think
That
it's
could be
worth a
interesting.
try.
All right, that could be interesting. I'm gonna try it. Ooh, this is like a
Hmm.
challenge. Because it's not my
Look at
sweet
me.
spot to do those type of like, so I do this and then I get up first. The day goes like off. I one time wanted to do that and I figured I'm going to go around and and even just introduce people on the set. And I never, I'm not able to because of the way a shoot goes. I'm not able to stay on task with that. I'll get
Hmm.
distracted. I'm called on set or something's happening and I have to do this. And so it becomes I can always find time to make content during the day like that, but have to work within what that realm is. So it's not necessarily that I can do a storytelling type of thing because I have to be concentrating to do a video like that, making
Hmm.
sure I get all. And sometimes during the shoot day, I have to concentrate on the shoot. I can't be concentrating on what my TikTok about the shoot's going to be. It's like
Yeah, but you
Inception.
always,
I
but at
have
the
the
end of the shoot,
footage.
you always have the footage. Like you
I do
always
have
take
the.
clips of Crafty, you always take random
I do.
clips of like the stuff. You could just throw it together
Okay, I'm gonna
and
try
put
that
a
with this
voiceover
last.
on
I'm
it.
gonna try that with the LA shoot. I like it.
Because then that could also help
I
you get
like
more
it.
credibility for,
Shoot, I'm
I
writing
mean,
it
you have the
down.
credibility, but then it's maybe you get a whole, maybe this is how you hit a million. You start posting more about being a TV director
Oh,
and you get that aspect of people
okay.
who are
Uh,
interested.
Okay, maybe we'll try that.
You never know. You
You
never
never
know.
know. It's worth a try. You're right. And it's also interesting to a lot of people who do know what I do that are my followers that kind of they love when I show
Yes,
behind the scenes, but I usually just show it like a music video. All right, maybe I'll give it a shot.
do it.
You know what I wanted to say to you, and I think this is going to be helpful even for people listening. I know it's going to sound a little nutty, so run with me on it. But when I have there's certain things you do every single day. You brush your teeth, maybe you take a shower, hopefully, or whatever. But you have certain things you do: brush your teeth, blah blah blah, breakfast, lunch, whatever the meals are, and the things you have to do in a day. My when I think about like things I got to do in a day, I always have content factored in as a mandatory thing I do in a day, which is I know probably sounds a little Looney Tune, but it is. It's in my it's in my mental checklist every day. And sometimes when I don't post a lot on my Instagram story or something, I'm like, wow, for 3 or 4 days, I've been really distracted with some stuff. So I haven't posted much on my Instagram story. And I feel that I didn't do my work. And not in a way that it was like I had to do it. I was like, oh, I missed
Yeah.
out on my work fun for a few days because I just was so busy. But I always have in my mind that there is a post a day. And it's like
Yeah.
a routine for the past since the pandemic when I started this. And I just think that when there's this thing, and the book is sitting right over there, it's called Atomic Habits, where it says if you do something for 10 minutes a day, it's going to become a habit over, I think it takes a certain period of time when then it becomes a habit. And I have
Hmm.
realized right in this moment as we're talking that I have made content a habit. And I think that's why it's so easy for me.
Hmm.
Isn't that weird to think about that? It's like the
Yeah.
book came true. If you do something every day for a certain or for 5 minutes a day for a certain period of time, it becomes a habit. Oh my
Oh
God.
my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Sorry. I know,
I just stomped my foot.
I know, I get so excited. But that's, I love when we have a moment and something like the light bulb goes on. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Oh my God. I do. That was really, because I've never thought about it like that. Because I'm thinking, why do people say to me, "Oh, it's so hard to make content every day," and why do I think it's so easy? And I just solved it. The puzzle is
I
solved.
just I just thought of something. I like how we're talking about how social media has changed our work.
Oh,
Meanwhile, our business is all about social media.
true that.
And we haven't even like talked about it, which is just funny how that has brought us together in the working realm.
Oh my God. I think because when we come here together, I think a lot of times we don't want to make this about work.
Yeah.
That's, I think, part of it. This is our social time, and we can really probably this is a perfect episode to talk about work because it's
Yeah.
related to the topic. But
Well,
I love where we're headed. So let's talk about that.
I think it's interesting that our Socialize has kind of evolved to be this resource for people to help them elevate their social media. Like our new kind of mantra is like helping you elevate your social media so you can unlock access to unique opportunities in your personal and professional life because both of us are both products of how our social media has led to opportunities that we would have not have otherwise gotten if we had not been on social media. So that is kind of like our mantra mission of like trying to help people with social media now is like let's help you be the best you can be at social media so that you can unlock these exciting opportunities in life.
Yes. And they don't even have to be social media opportunities. What we
Mm-hmm.
mean is that I mean, in our case, it happens to be that I became an expert in social media. Great. But what if I had used my social media to become an expert in child psychology? I'm making it up. Let's say I was a child psychologist. Let's use somebody as an example. That Molly McPherson woman she does all that PR crisis management when a celebrity gets in crisis and they have to respond. So I have to believe, and I don't know this personally about her, but I have to believe her business has been exploded because of what she puts out there on social media. She's now
It
on
just,
news outlets all the time and all of this stuff. She has
yeah. You know
unlocked.
what I was thinking? Just by posting on social media, you make yourself seem like an expert. It's almost like fake it till you make it. She probably could have just like not even like I'm not saying that she is okay, I'm gonna use someone else as an example, but someone else could be and then it becomes a problem because it's the people who claim to
True.
be social media gurus giving you all this advice and then they got like 3,000 followers, which is not a bit that's a lot of followers, but at the same time doesn't qualify them to give you advice on like how to go viral and how to grow to 100K.
Right.
But because you see it in a feed and this person is telling you here's how to go viral on Instagram and they got a nice video and they have crisp clean titles, it's like they can fake it till you make it, which is like
Yeah.
kind of
That's
what
the
you gotta do
downside.
sometimes,
Well, that's also
but
the
kind of a
downside. Yeah, kind of
kind
what you
of
have to
it's like
do.
a downside if they don't know what they're doing, but upside if it's like a lot of things with comedy is kind of like fake it till you make it, like pretend you're like the big, like you gotta feel like you're the big shot even if though you're not, or
Hmm.
else you're not gonna keep doing it if you feel like crap all the
Yeah.
time that you're
It
not
also
enough. So
it also works like it also works that way if you are in a profession and you are really known in your industry, but you're not known on social media. So let's use an example like the
hmm.
dermatologist that Megan is working with right now. So dermatologist, he's really knows what he's doing. He's really great at his job, but he hasn't had a big presence on social media, but now he's becoming he's portraying himself through his videos as the expert on skincare, expert on sunscreen. He's providing advice. So the things he already knows, that's when it makes it really easy, by the way. If you don't have to make it up, if it's stuff that you really, really know well. So I really know how to edit videos. It is very easy for me to hop on a workshop and teach somebody how to edit videos. And I think that that's why my videos caught on so well because I wasn't
Hmm.
faking it. So I think there's twofold. Yes, you can fake it till you make it and you can go that route. But a lot of times people eventually see through that because just like you just said, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, they look really professional. Maybe they're going to dupe people that don't know better. But the bulk of people now are pretty savvy and they're going to pick up on it.
but I'm just saying like
You just,
you kind of like, but it just you know that's why Socialize is great because you could have an expert who creates shitty videos and they're not getting traction because they're making crappy videos. And you have someone who's not an expert but has really like knows how to make a good video with like putting the titles and putting a caption and like hashtags, and that person will probably go viral versus the actual expert.
Mm.
Because even though it's just like small, tiny little changes, you don't need to have like a professional camera and a lighting setup and microphones. It's really just about like framing yourself in your selfie camera and putting titles on so you don't block your face. And it's really simple, small things that,
Yes.
yeah. So
The things
that's
we
what I'm
teach
saying.
in the workshops, the things we teach in all of we put out in our newsletters every week. And this week, today's newsletter was pretty interesting because it was optimize your bio. And so many people don't think about it. And I want to say, if you're listening to this episode and you are not on our email list for Socialize, you're missing out. You are missing the freaking boat. HelloSocialize.com. We did our website. We now have tutorials, workshops. We have the podcast up there. We have the course up there. Everything's like a one-stop shop. And you can always know what the next workshop is. We have one coming up in April. You can sign up for it. Editing workshops. So we finally have, I think it's like, boom, we finally have that place where you can go and get all the information. And just the way you've organized it is so chef's kiss. And we're, having it like worked out so nicely on there. So everything's seamless. And I think for us, it is so right because it's what we're living. So it's
Mhm.
not, that makes it number one, not work. Of course it's work. We have to make sure every week we're on top of it. And, last night I was making sure that the podcast was posted correctly to link into the newsletter, and we do both of our
Mhm.
parts. And so it is work, but it's work that is supporting what we're already doing in our social media life and vice versa. So we are taking all the learnings that we're doing by living it, and we're just sharing it with others. And I think that's why, I know that's why I love it. I know that comedy is your first love, and you are with me on this adventure of social media, which I'm thrilled for.
But I
But I
also love
really want
social
to,
media.
yeah, but I
So
really want to see the comedy thing happen for you. So just
thank you.
saying, I am. I'm your biggest fan, biggest supporter.
And I are.
Maybe Steven's your
Thanks.
biggest supporter too, but Dad's your supporter. Like we're all, where Tommy's there, everybody. Tommy's like, well, he finally doesn't cry when you perform. This is good,
Big
Tommy.
stuff.
I
He
love
doesn't
it.
cry.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
I
He really,
feel like
yeah.
that's it. I was gonna say, I feel like this is a good way to wrap up the episode.
Okay. I had,
It's all come full circle.
it has, we're back to it. And I think that it was fun to talk about all this. And I just want to say that if you haven't started posting, it's not too late. You can't, a lot of people think, oh, there's too many people on an app already, or I'm too far behind. But there's another doctor that I had worked with years and years and years ago, and she just messaged me, and she's been following me for 4 years on my channels. And she said, I'm finally going to start posting. And it was like she's in Instagram kindergarten, and she's adorable.
Hmm.
And she doesn't even know how to make a video. She was like, how do I do a video if I want to talk about something with something behind me? So she's such a beginner, and she's so adorable. But she's just starting, and she's going to reach people, and she's going to resonate. So if you haven't done
It's
it, do it and sign up for the newsletter.
it's it's
Free
never
plug.
too late to start. And it's like people like if I started posting more in 2022, and there's always those jokes. It's like working my corporate job because I didn't start posting like an influencer in 2020, you know. And it's like jokes like that, you're gonna regret it. So just do it. Just start it
Do it
now.
now. Don't want to be looking back in 2026 and saying, darn it, I wish I did it in 2024.
Exactly.
Boom, there's the lesson. Atomic habit. Make it a habit right now. Yours truly.
Helen and Julie.
Woohoo! If you enjoyed listening today, we loved being on topic. It was so much fun. And we have lots more coming with lots of different things that we're going to attack on point. All right. If you, obviously, we've said it enough times, know where to find us together, hellosocialize.com. You know where to find us separately, the Mothership on TikTok, Instagram, Julie Polisi on TikTok, Instagram, and this podcast has an Instagram. So if you're not following, yours truly the podcast, I think is what it is exactly, on Instagram, please follow and drop us some questions, because we have an episode coming where we are going to answer your questions. So make sure you come, your questions. So make sure you drop us some so we can have some fun and answer some good ones. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye, Julie.
Bye.